Hey everyone, it's Kat with Wandering Soup, Black Lesbian Expats, and today we are back with another Move To episode. And this week we are moving to Colombia. Now, as always with our videos, we always say that you need to do your own research, find information that's particular for you and your particular set of circumstances, family, not family, retirees, and things like that. We tend to share information that's not really geared toward retirees, at least on the surface, but things will apply to you. If you have kids, there's a couple of tidbits in here for you as well. And also, just to add, we were planning on moving to Colombia before COVID-19 hit, and we changed directions a little bit. So we did research this country pretty extensively. So I'm going to share that information with you today. Let's get started. All right. We start out with just basic things. Land ownership, business ownership, citizenship, education, LGBTQI rights, and being black and abroad. Let's start out with land. You can own land as an expat in Colombia. Matter of fact, you can own land as an expat in Colombia just as easily as a Colombian citizen. All you need is the funds and a valid passport. When I say funds, I don't mean credit. I mean cash. So you probably won't get a loan in that country. You may be able to get a loan in another country, America, or some other country that may carry over, but you will need cash. So keep that in mind. Well, it's an easy process. Business ownership. Can you own a business there? You can. It's going to be more complicated than buying land. You will need a lawyer, you will need an accountant. There are requirements cash-wise to owning a business. So basically, don't go in on Monday thinking you'll have a business in, say, a month. You won't. There's going to be some steps and things that you have to do, but you can get there if that's where you want to be. Keep in mind, if you're gearing your business toward expats and you're doing expat pricing, you're going to have to really be in an expat neighborhood because the cost of living in Colombia is really low. And the income levels for natives is definitely low. So keep that thought process in mind. Citizenship. Can you be a citizen or become a citizen in Colombia? And the answer to that is yes, you can. There's some steps. There's the general 5, 7, or 10-year rule of being a resident. And in Colombia's case, it's 5 years. You'd have to be in residence in the country, and then you'd apply. Once you apply, though, there's a significant application process. So it's not going to be a one-day thing. If you want to make sure that you're doing everything right, hire someone to do it for you. If you're one of those people that like to do things yourself, then just make sure you're checking all the boxes. But it can be done. You can do this also within 2 years if you marry a Colombian citizen. That's an option for some. One other caveat that I always like to mention when it comes to Colombia is that you have to pay taxes in Colombia. If you are a U.S. citizen, you pay for your taxes there. They're going to take that same tax return, and you're going to have to pay taxes on that income in Colombia. You're basically, going to pay taxes off of the part that isn't taxed, or the balance that you get from America and things like that. So do your taxes, talk to an accountant, you should be okay. But you will have to pay it. Visa. Colombia has over 15 types of visas. Over 15. All of them are different and varied, and one may apply to you, two may apply to you. You need to talk to someone on the ground there who actually does this for a living as the best one that's going to work for you and your family. You can also use the visas to gain residence in the sense that possibly owning a business or buying land may move you closer to that residency if that's what you want. Again, talk to someone professional on the ground in Colombia. We did when we were looking to move there because it's just a lot of information. I think I'm good at parsing and really doing my own research, but I'm not Colombian. I don't speak Spanish. I don't really read Spanish that well, so I needed to talk to someone, and we paid for it, and it was worth it. Totally worth it. And if you want that person's information, I'll give it to you. Next up is medical. Great health care. Just that simple. If you go to Colombia, Colombia is ranked 22 globally in the world. The U.S. is 37. That should tell you a lot right there. Also, there are 3 types of main health care in Colombia. You, as not being a Colombia native, will only apply for 2. One is called EPS, and the other is Medicina Pre-Propaganda, if I'm pronouncing that right, and I'm probably not. But anyway, the EPS is mandatory. It's based off of your income, but it's mandatory. The other one is the Medicina, and it's private. A lot of expats lean toward that. Not really sure why. When I was doing my research, I couldn't really get a gauge of why they preferred that, but I'm sure there's some reasons, and once you get on the ground, you'll figure all that out. Now, here's a really good caveat. If you're over 60, you can't get it, any of those. So you will need to have health care outside. You have to get a private health care carrier. And with that in mind, you're going to probably have to pay for everything up front and then being reimbursed by your carrier. You could also choose to pay out of pocket without insurance. It's up to you. I wouldn't lean toward it if I was over 60. I wouldn't lean toward it if I was over 30, being brutally honest. Actually, I just wouldn't lean toward it at all. Get some insurance. Education. Now, if you have children, Colombia is a great place in regards to education, in the sense that education is mandatory up till middle school. So what that means is that there are going to be options for you and your children. You can homeschool. It's not illegal, so you can do that way. You can also do public education. Look at the visas for that. You can do private education. Again, look at the visas for that. You'd be surprised. And you can also do international schools. Now, if your kids do not speak any Spanish at all, then you're probably leaning toward private or international schools. And those are going to cost you. Just that simple. Factor it into your budget. And cost of living. That's always a good question. And I always say to everyone, it's really up to you and what you want to spend to live the life that you want to live. You can live quite comfortably in Colombia, depending on the city, on $1,000 a month. And I'm saying that's a furnished apartment, 1 or 2 bedrooms, in a good neighborhood. Again, depending on the city and what you want to do. You can pay $3,000 a month, depending on the city and what you want to do. So just look, do your research, make sure that that city is the one for you. We were looking at Medellin because of the weather, the crime rate. There's a huge number of expats there, and there are a huge number of black expats there. So that's why we were looking at Medellin. The bigger cities are going to cost more. And LGBTQI friendly. Is it friendly there? So there is no gay utopia. We've accepted that. So what we try to do is think about it in terms of, are we going to be relatively safe there? Whether we're out or not. And if we are out, can we be safe again? And the answer to that is, on paper, Colombia is very LGBTQI friendly. There have been laws that have been on the books for decades that are protecting LGBTQI rights. So again, on paper, you should be fine. But the reality of it is, this is a Catholic-based country. And with that, there's going to be some issues. Will you, as an American, have those issues? Doubtful. And I say doubtful unless you become really, really a part of the community and you're really, really in the middle of everything. Most people are not. And so you should be okay. Use that American accent. It's a power saver. All right. And then last but not least is black and abroad in Colombia. What does that mean for you? It means in Colombia, welcome to colonization and the effects of slavery, right? There is a decent sized population of Afro-Colombians there. And unfortunately, they are marginalized. They are poor. And what this means for you is, in some instances, you'll be fine. You will be looked at as a local based on your skin color. You won't have any issues at all. And on another instance, because of your skin color, you might have issues. Again, your American accent is going to help you out a lot here. Use it. And that's just being honest. It's a tool. Pull it out. Use it. And you'll probably be okay. We again looked at Colombia as an option, and the things that I'm listing as negatives were not huge negatives to us. Again, I don't expect to have a black utopia or a gay utopia. I expect that there's going to be some issues possibly. As long as you know that and you acknowledge that before you step foot, then you should be fine. America is not a utopia, never has been for black and gay. So if you're okay with living in America, you're probably going to be okay with living in Colombia. It's going to be about the same level, probably a little bit better because the laws have been there a little bit longer. And you being an expat will have certain advantages. Hey, take advantage of them if you can. And you should. And that's just my opinion. And this is our move to Colombia for the week. Join us next week or a week or two after that for our next move to. Where should we move to next? Check out our archives of move tos, of course, and subscribe, like, share, comment this video and all the others. Again, I am Kat. This is Wandering Sue, Black Lesbian Expats. See you next week.